Hi, I'm attorney Steve Reilly, and today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you should consider updating your will. And while I know that there's a lot of reasons why you should, today we're going to talk about 3 basic ones that are very important. It's always a good idea to try to update your will, or at least look at it within, every 5 years or so. Well, the first reason is because when you do your first will, a lot of my clients have a will done when they are younger or just got married and have a few kids or a couple of kids or even one child, and they decide, okay, who are we going to name to be guardians of our children? And that is basically their main concern when they do that first will. So they name the executor of the will to be someone else they trust, such as a sibling, like a brother, sister, or whatever, or third-party person who they trust to be in charge of their estate. And they don't name their children, or any of their children, because they're just too little, too young to handle the job. And so the thing is that if you fast forward 25, 30 years later, and now everybody's looking at that will once a parent passes, then they're looking at it saying, wait a minute, why is Uncle Joe the executor of my parents' will? Why didn't my parent name me? So that's the first reason why you should look at it, is because you might have outdated executors, or it might be something that you would certainly want to change if you took the opportunity to look at it and review it. The second reason why you would want to is because in many wills, people set forth the gift of specific types of property, specific bequests. In other words, say, hey, I want my heirloom, or whatever it is, ring or something like that, or a necklace, or women, it could be a certain piece of jewelry they wanted to hand down to their children. And when they're younger, they put these items in the will, or they name all these items in the will, and then the items later on are gone. That the parent might have either did something with that piece of jewelry, or actually have given it away to a different person since that time, and they didn't go back and look at the will. Well, that certainly can cause a lot of strife if somebody looks at the will and says, okay, I'm supposed to get mom's diamond necklace, where is it? And then they think that somebody else is trying to take it away from them, or that they might have stolen it, and it causes family strife. So a second reason is to take a look at the will and see if you did put in any specific pieces of personal property, that you in fact still have that property, or if you didn't sell it, or you didn't already give it away. Another very important reason to review it is you might have terms in there, that terms, for example, dealing with a trust that you created, that are outdated. In other words, there's a lot of trusts out there that were created when the exemptions for estate taxes were much lower. When I first started practicing more than 4 decades ago, the actual tax exemption for a spouse was only $100,000 in Connecticut. Now we're talking about more than $10 million that you can leave property to your kids or to any heir without paying any estate tax on it in Connecticut. Whether it be on the federal side, which is going to be $12.9 million in 2023, and then Connecticut's going to match that by statute in 2023. So some of the trusts that you might create in a more complicated will, you look at and say, well, why complicate matters and have things go off into different trusts when they are no longer necessary, depending upon your specific circumstances. So it's always a good idea every 5 years or so to at least take a look at your will or your revocable living trust, whichever one you might have created, and have a conversation with your attorney as to whether things might have changed with regard to that. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing, and ringing the bell, so to speak, clicking on that bell picture, so that you'll be notified of future videos as I put them out. Thanks for watching.